Welcome to another edition of Ask Gemma. The question today is one of my favorites. It's all about love and fear, and this is one of the guiding principles for me in my life, but also in my work. So I'm so excited about today. Dear Gemma, I have to tell you that I really appreciate the care and thought you put into the videos that you share. Here's my question. I know you're into spirituality and the concepts of living from love versus living from fear. I don't have a specific question, but I'd love to hear you share more about this. Love and light. Love and light. Thank you. Okay, love and fear. So, because my thing is psychology, I'm fascinated by how fear and love can influence our mind and our body and our spirit. So, let me really quickly explain sort of like a foundational piece. So, love versus fear is the idea that there are two states that create all human emotions. One is fear, and that creates the human emotions of sort of like anger, resentment, judgment, hatred, things like that. And one is based in love, which creates feelings of contentment, peace, joy, gratitude, all those lovely ones. And so the way that I like to conceptualize, first of all, fear is that there are two types of fear. So there are clean fears, which are just pure fear. So like a tiger runs out of the bush and you just, you make a run for it. That's a good kind of fear. Keep that fear. And typically the most, for us, there's two fears that we're born with. There's fear of falling and fear of loud noises. So those types of fears are really clean and pure. After that, what happens is that we start to absorb messy fears. So these are, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of failure, fear of success. These are the things that I'm really fascinated with, and the concept that helps me to work with people, but also myself. So what happens is that when we're in the fear state, it takes a tremendous amount of energy, and the physiology of fear is really intense. And so it makes us more susceptible to things like mental illness or physical illness. When we're living from love, the state of that is a very sort of calm and soothing state. And so what happens is that our physiology does not need to work in overtime to keep us in the love state, and so we tend to be happier and healthier and more peaceful when we're in that state. And whether we're living our lives from fear or from love can change everything. So this applies to every aspect of your life, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your children, your relationship with your work, your relationship with your partner. If you're in a fearful state in any of those, it tends to feel constricted and heavy and like you're trying to control, and it just feels gross. And it also makes you more susceptible to things like depression and anxiety. When you're in the love state, it feels lighter and freer and more genuine and accepting and allowing and opening and grateful and all of those lovely things that everyone is always talking about. And so whenever I'm using this concept, when I'm looking at a client sitting across from me or when I'm looking inside myself, I'm always asking myself, is this coming from love or is this coming from fear? And if it's coming from fear, it's not a bad thing, but it just shows us where there's still work that needs to be done. And so then we can go into that fear of rejection, for example, and we can dive into what is it that's there and how can we offer love into it to allow it to begin to heal so that we can face our lives and not be triggered into those fearful states. And I totally believe, like with all of my heart, that the more people we have living from a state of love, the better off the entire world is. And it's certainly not an easy task. We see fear all over the place, and it can be really easy to slip into that state. And so I'm not saying this is sort of a light, fluffy, sugary thing to start doing, just living from love, but it's a philosophy, it's a concept of it, it's a way of being, it's a way of guiding you to how to live your life in a way that's going to bring you the most peace and enjoyment, but also to spread that out into your family and into the world. So this is why I love it so much, but I also realize it's not an easy task. So I hope this helps. I'm going to also include some links in my page here, so if you want to explore more into it, you can. But thank you so much for asking. I can talk about love and fear all day. So if you have any more specific questions around it, please feel free to send them in. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.